this particular article, we're going to be taking a look at how the US B2C e-commerce is expected to grow by 11.8%, basically to reach $1.5 trillion in 2022. And the really interesting thing about this is it's expected to grow on a compounded annual growth rate of 10.22% from 22 to 26. Now, overall, this is a really interesting trend because the growth rate is certainly declining on the B2C space. A lot of B2C is sort of getting commoditized, and so you're going to continue to see a lot of mergers and acquisitions within the space. And that's one of the things that you're seeing here. Now, this is particularly interesting because a lot of e-commerce companies that are working to scale and leverage some of their strengths within their niche, they do get intimidated by a lot of the 5,000 pound, 10,000 pound gorillas out there. One of the things that we're here to encourage you about that we see every single day is really focusing on your niche and delivering extreme value. Now, ultimately, that's what you are seeing, and this is evidence of the value of that. If you want to see it indirectly this way, whenever big companies acquire these little companies, it's because they've made an extreme dent in the value offering, and they've exceeded the value, or they have the great promise to be able to do that relative to these 10,000 pound gorillas that are in the space. So here's the question. How can you learn from these different acquisitions that are occurring? So for example, you can see that they acquired Elo7, Etsy acquired Elo7. And so was that just a grab of the customer base in that particular region? Possibly. But what was it that was really creative and interesting as well? And how did they create a moat of users within that particular region? How can you benefit from this? So if you're interested in going into a particular region, look for companies that are getting acquired. Even if you're in B2B and you're looking at B2C, you can find a lot of interesting data on how to own that particular region, or at least optimize your play in that region by looking at some of these companies that are getting gobbled up by large organizations. It's proof that what they did at least has some merit to it for your consideration. Another one, for example, is Depop, and it's an online-based apparel shopping app, and Etsy acquired them for $1.63 billion. Now, you will have seen a lot of these other videos and discussions that we mentioned some of the other companies that get acquired within e-commerce around logistics, for example. They're getting acquired around social e-commerce, or social e-commerce apps are acquiring more typical boots on the ground type of e-commerce offerings. Some of them have deep analytics, marketing automation. The question is, how can you take this information about what's working to cause a company to get acquired within the e-commerce space and see that as a signal for what's panning out well according to these big giant companies? And so instead of them creating the tech, they're actually just buying it and incorporating it in. So that should be a great signal to you as to what some of these key aspects are. Now, if you would like, we're always happy to share a detailed list of our analysis of what we think are really competitive tech offerings. And you can even let us know in the comments below some niches that you would like us to decompose and share how we would do this analysis and what some of the actual key value areas are. We provide a high level of this with our In the News, but we'd love to go into more detail for you so you can actually see how we go through the analysis in your specific space. With that said, I also just want to hit on a couple other key points here in this article. This is kind of interesting. You'll probably hear a lot of talk about the metaverse. For a lot of people, this can sort of sound, new and faddish, but it's certainly not. And you can think of it in a pretty practical spectrum, where you have a very practical spectrum on a sort of B2B side, even B2C side, where you're augmenting a user's experience. And you can sort of see this discussion around Zkit that Walmart recently acquired that helps essentially provide a augmented reality view whenever shoppers are on Amazon, Walmart, or other online e-commerce platforms. They're leveraging this capability to provide an augmented reality experience. Now, what does that mean, augmented reality? Just in case you're not aware, the idea is that we can sort of visualize what it will look like to wear an item of clothing or have furniture placed inside of our home. This can even include some form of projection with a set of lenses or glasses, for example, that project the items that we're considering purchasing into our existing environment. So this can be done with augmented reality. And so this is a really powerful capability. Think about the practical use case scenarios for this and how huge of a technology leap this can be whenever it's implemented within your niche. Now, for a lot of players out there, this is going to be a long-term thing, but you'll at least want to keep your eye on it and where it's going. And again, take advantage of this concept of looking at what some of the big players are doing to acquire companies. That's a great tell behaviorally that they're spending billions of dollars in many cases to acquire the technology. So that can sort of give you a heads up, hey, within this particular facet of metaverse or augmented reality, this is a very commercially viable aspect of it. Again, if you're interested, we're always happy to dive into the weeds and actually provide a industry specific focus on this. And ultimately what you'll see with this particular article is just outlining what's covered in this report. But you can see even the summary has a lot of great detail on some of the different aspects of e-commerce that are expanding and how they're doing that. Ultimately, we encourage you to be on the lookout for what's happening within your particular facet or niche within the e-commerce space. And we are here to help you if you are interested in exploring that in a really detailed way. We love doing that. That's what we do all day long. Again, throw a comment in if you're interested in a specific space, and we can prioritize the area that you might be interested in higher on our list and provide a detailed deep dive video. Would love to do that. With that said, if you enjoyed this video, feel free to smash the like button. We certainly appreciate it. And if you would like to see more of these videos, feel free to subscribe. Thank you for watching to the end, and we'll look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.